In the small town of Maplewood, nestled among rolling hills and blooming wildflowers, there lived a spirited young girl named Mary. She was just 9 years old in the year 1904, but her laughter could fill a room and brighten the gloomiest of days. Mary had a distinctive charm, with her chestnut brown hair tied back in 2 playful braids that danced with every step she took. Her bright blue eyes sparkled with curiosity, always eager to explore the world around her. Mary was known for her boundless imagination. Every afternoon after school, she would gather her friends under the shade of the old oak tree in the park. They would create elaborate stories about fairies who lived in the nearby stream or brave knights who protected their secret kingdom. If you enjoy this video, please like the video and subscribe for more. And tell me where you are watching from today. I always find it awesome to see where all my viewers are watching from. Let's get back to the video. Mary was often the leader of these adventures, guiding her friends through fantastical worlds filled with magic and excitement. Her friends adored her for this. She had a special way of making even the most ordinary days feel extraordinary. Beyond her vivid storytelling, Mary had a deep love for nature. She often spent weekends wandering through flower-filled meadows, collecting wildflowers she would later present to her mother, who cherished each colorful bouquet. Mary understood the beauty of small things, how a ladybug crawled on a leaf, or how the sun set behind the mountains, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink. These moments filled her heart with joy, and she loved to share them with her family. Mary had a close bond with her family, especially her younger brother, Tommy. He looked up to her like a hero. They spent countless afternoons playing hide and seek or building forts out of blankets in their living room. She had a knack for making him laugh when he felt sad, and was always there to lend an ear whenever he wanted to talk about his dreams or fears. Their playful banter echoed through the house, filling it with warmth and cheerful energy. Her parents were kind-hearted people who worked hard to provide for their family. Her mother ran a small bakery, famous for its warm bread and sweet pastries that drew folks from all over town. Mary often helped out by kneading dough and decorating cookies, developing an early passion for baking that she hoped to share with others someday. Her father was a carpenter, whose skilled hands built beautiful furniture that graced many homes in Maplewood. He taught Mary the value of creativity and hard work. Every Sunday after church, Mary and her family would take long walks around Maplewood. They would visit neighbors, trade stories, and enjoy sunshine above them while chatting about their week. The town was small enough that everyone knew one another, creating a close-knit community where friendships bloomed like spring flowers. These walks gave Mary an appreciation for her surroundings and fueled her desire to learn more about the people who made up her beloved town. As much as Mary cherished her family and friends, she also had dreams of exploring beyond the boundaries of Maplewood. She often envisioned what lay beyond the hills, other towns filled with new friends and exciting adventures waiting just around the corner. One evening, while lying on the grass and staring up at the stars, she whispered wishes into the night sky. A burning hope to someday travel to places she had only read about in books. Mary's infectious spirit made every gathering a delight. Her friends looked forward to birthday parties at her house, where they would dive into games and stories late into the night, giggling under the covers until sleep eventually took them away. She loved planning surprises for her loved ones, too. Whether it was crafting handmade cards or organizing treasure hunts around their neighborhood. Her thoughtfulness left lasting impressions on everyone. One of Mary's favorite times of year was autumn, when leaves turned vibrant colors and fall festivals lit up the town square. She loved it even more when she participated in the pumpkin carving contest every Halloween with Tommy by her side. Together, they worked on creating the spookiest pumpkin in Maplewood, while sharing sweet treats of caramel apples from stalls nearby. But despite all this joy surrounding Mary, it was clear she was no stranger to adversity either. There were whispers among some adults in town regarding hardships beyond their view. Worries about crops failing or sicknesses affecting families they knew well. Even as a child, Mary felt empathy for those around her struggling during tough times. She offered kindness in small gestures, like sharing baked goods or sending encouraging notes to those who needed them most. In these early days of 1904, Mary lived fully each moment, as if time itself could not keep pace with her spirited heart. Every experience shaped how she viewed life. The beauty found within friendships, family bonds strengthened by love, and lessons learned from mischief backed by laughter. The sun rose brightly every morning over Maplewood, casting golden light across its quaint houses and streets lined with trees. Yet little did anyone know that this delightful girl, filled with warmth and cheer, would soon leave an unforgettable mark, one that would not be easily forgotten even after she was gone. The story of Mary is not just a tale of joy. It serves as a reminder of how precious life is and how memories can linger far beyond our earthly presence. Her essence intertwined deeply within each heart she touched, a phenomenon few could comprehend or explain at that time, but one that would manifest in surprising ways as days unfolded ahead. One fateful afternoon in late October, the air in Maplewood turned crisp, signaling the arrival of fall. The leaves painted vivid reds and yellows. Yet despite the beauty surrounding them, a sense of unease lingered among the townsfolk. It was the day of the annual Autumn Festival, a celebration Mary had looked forward to for weeks. She was excited to showcase her newly carved pumpkin, which Tommy had helped her design with a mischievous grin. As laughter and music filled the air that evening, families gathered in the town square, their voices mingling with the rustling leaves. Mary twirled around, her braids bouncing with every spin as she joined her friends under strings of glowing lanterns. They participated in games like apple bobbing and tug-of-war, their infectious joy spreading through the crowd like wildfire. But amidst this cheerful chaos, a shadow loomed just beyond the festivities. Earlier that day, Mary's father had been working late at his carpentry shop to meet a deadline for an important order. He needed to transport heavy pieces of wood across town to deliver them on time, but he had never expected to encounter danger on such a vibrant day. As Mary and her friends played near the road close to their home, her father drove past in his horse-drawn cart filled with lumber. His face lit up when he spotted Mary waving enthusiastically from the side of the road, her radiant smile reflecting all his love for her. In that moment, everything seemed perfect. But tragedy struck when he suddenly noticed another horse and cart approaching at a fast pace from around a bend. Trying to swerve out of the way, panic seized him as he struggled to regain control. The cart tipped over onto its side, sending wooden planks crashing down like thunder on unsuspecting ground. Mary's heart sank as she rushed toward the scene alongside other children who were drawn by the sound. The joyful laughter that echoed through Maplewood moments before was replaced by gasps and cries as they witnessed what had occurred. In an instant, everything changed. The vibrant colors of fall were overshadowed by shock and horror as townspeople rushed to help. Mary's father lay injured among scattered wood. He was dazed but alive. However, amid all this chaos, Mary's concern grew when she met his gaze, a look filled with fear that chilled her heart. She stepped closer, wanting to comfort him while feeling pulled by an unseen force, as if something terrible was about to unfold. In just those few moments of panic and confusion, it happened. A loud crack echoed against the backdrop of worried whispers and frantic movements. A large piece of timber rolled away into the path where Mary stood frozen in horror. It tipped dangerously close without warning and landed heavily with a sickening thud. Silence fell over Maplewood like a heavy blanket as everyone froze in disbelief. Time itself seemed suspended. Mary's friends stood paralyzed with shock, while concerns for their own safety paled in comparison to what had just occurred. An ambulance soon arrived, but it was too late. She was gone. The news spread quickly through town, shrouding everyone in grief. Families who once gathered together now found themselves mourning a bright light extinguished too soon. Mary's absence left an unimaginable void that echoed throughout their hearts and homes. Her family struggled to grasp the reality of their loss. Her mother couldn't bear to enter the bakery without hearing Mary's laughter ringing between flour sacks or seeing her little hands covered in dough. Each room felt haunted by quiet memories. Traces of sweet smiles exchanged during baking sessions now turned into haunting reminders of what once was. Tommy found it hardest to cope. His world felt dimmer without his sister's playful companionship guiding him through daily adventures. He wandered aimlessly through Maplewood, seeking solace beneath their favorite oak tree where they used to play games together. Friends tried to comfort him, but often found themselves grappling with their own grief too. A deep sadness spread among those who cherished Mary most. The town itself seemed draped in sorrow. A stark contrast from its usual vibrance during autumn festivities, where the laughter typically rang out unhindered by despair. Old folks whispered tales about how life could change in an instant, while children clung tightly together, resisting fears that something similar might happen again. Funeral arrangements took place shortly after. Townsfolk offered support by bringing meals or simply being present for each other during hard moments that lay ahead. An embodiment of community spirit emerging amidst overwhelming loss. As people came together for memorial services held at Maplewood's quaint church, adorned with flowers representing love sent forth from those who cared deeply about Mary's short life. It became clear how much she meant not only within her family, but also throughout every corner of this cherished town. Though sorrow gripped their hearts tightly during those difficult days following her passing, the spirit carried forth would intertwine within memories shared among townspeople, who would always remember her infectious laughter echoing across summer fields or fun festivals long after they faded into memories themselves. In this somber atmosphere, cloaked beneath fallen leaves, painted brightly by nature, where chaos once played merrily along streets. Mary's legacy would remain ever present within cherished remembrances shared between loved ones navigating darkness together, despite having lost such a radiant light far too early. Days turned into weeks after Mary's tragic death, and the town of Maplewood still felt heavy with sorrow. The leaves fell from the trees, covering the ground in a blanket of orange and brown, but it felt as if joy would never return. Families carried on with their lives, but the laughter once shared with Mary seemed to echo only as a ghostly memory. Amidst this pervasive gloom, something strange began to unfold. It started when Tommy decided to take a walk one afternoon, still carrying the heaviness of his sister's absence in his heart. He wandered toward the old oak tree where they used to play, whispering stories to himself. As he approached the tree's gnarled trunk, he paused to sit down and clear his mind. Nearby, he noticed the sun streaming through the branches, creating pretty patterns on the ground. Feeling nostalgic, Tommy reached for his mother's camera that she had kept in a closet, hoping to capture a moment of remembrance. With shaky hands, he positioned the camera toward the oak tree, pressing the shutter button lightly. The click echoed in the quiet air. When he looked at the photograph developed later that evening, Tommy gasped. There, among the sun-drenched leaves, was a faint image of Mary smiling back at him. Her figure appeared to be shimmering as if she were lit from within. Startled and intrigued, he ran home, clutching the photo tightly. Tommy showed it first to his mother. She gasped in astonishment and disbelief. "This must be a trick of light or something," she murmured, unsure whether to believe her own eyes. But deep down, a part of her longed for it to be true, a chance to see her beloved daughter once more. Word of this peculiar photo spread through the town like wildfire. Friends who gathered to console each other began sharing their own experiences and tales of sightings around town. More instances where Mary seemed to appear unexpectedly in photos. Neighborhood children squealed with a mix of fright and excitement as they recounted stories that sent shivers up their spines. At first, families dismissed these occurrences as mere coincidence or imagination, fueled by grief. However, as more photographs emerged featuring Mary's familiar visage, a blurry outline here, a soft glow there, the curiosity shifted into something heavier. An unsettling fascination gripped their hearts. Mrs. Thompson, an elderly lady who often baked cakes for community events, was among those who found herself involved when she decided to examine old family photos from happier times. Scanning through sepia-toned memories filled with children's laughter and sunny days spent together at parks, there she saw it, Mary's face peering from behind a bush during a summer gathering that had taken place months before. The following week at church service, whispers filled every pew. Some folks grasped onto these photographs like holy relics, while others expressed unease about what they termed the ghost girl. Yet despite mixed feelings of unease and hope intertwined with loss, many were eager to share their findings, a phenomena marked by tragedy yet underscored with joy, tinged by nostalgia. Tommy became somewhat of a local hero among the younger crowd for capturing the first image where they all saw Mary persistently present. Her essence mingled throughout their cherished memories, continuing even after her physical absence. Children sought out Tommy at school to ask about the magic photos, as if searching for answers regarding her spirit lingering still. They wanted insights on how joy could possibly surge from such profound sorrow. This strange occurrence soon caught the attention of Mr. Baxter, the town's newspaper editor, who had never encountered anything like this before. Notepads filled with names listed beside tales told. Stories that congregated like old friends over coffee at the cafe while sharing thoughts about what it meant for Maplewood now moving into winter. Fueled by curiosity surrounding these spectral sightings mingling between hope and despair, Mr. Baxter published an article entitled "The Ghost of Maplewood, the Girl Who Lingers," bringing even more attention to this ethereal phenomenon gripping citizens' hearts across town. Residents could not help but reflect deeply on life's fragility. Perhaps Mary's appearances served as reminders that true love transcended beyond time or space. As nights grew longer and chillier, leading into December, people began to seek warmth not just from stoves, but connections shared between them throughout grief felt collectively together once again. Amid all this creativity spurred forth from sorrow came an idea. Mary's friends proposed organizing an annual Celebration of Memories Day each winter, where they dedicated time reflecting fondly upon stories shared while lighting candles in her honor, now symbolizing hope among darkness. The town rallied behind this simple yet beautiful gesture. Adorned wreaths made from evergreen branches symbolizing strength surrounded by stories lined against walls at community halls where everyone gathered happily telling tales around flickering flames, lighting up faces eager to witness how Mary impacted every soul within their loving embrace, still somehow shining brightly among dreams, no matter how far. Little did they know that very soon these moments encouraging love and spirit would spiral into something even greater, shaping not only Maplewood's history, but also knitting together lives forever connected through bonds reaching beyond existence itself. As winter settled over Maplewood, The townspeople remained captivated by the mysterious images of Mary that had begun to appear in photographs. While some embraced the sightings as comforting signs from their lost friend, others were filled with trepidation. Among those eager to solve the mystery were Tommy and his close-knit group of friends, Lily, Ben, and Sarah. Determined to understand the phenomenon that had captured their town's attention, they set off on a quest to gather old photos and seek help from local townsfolk. One crisp Saturday morning, the four friends met at Tommy's house, armed with a sense of purpose that warmed their hearts against the winter chill. "We need to find out more about Mary and these strange appearances," Tommy declared. His friends nodded, excitement mingling with nervousness. They decided to split into pairs for a better chance of collecting information. Tommy and Lily headed toward Mrs. Thompson's home first. The elderly woman was known for her vast collection of photographs and memories of the town's children. As they approached her quaint cottage adorned with holly and red bows for the season, they hesitated before knocking on her door. "Come in, come in," Mrs. Thompson exclaimed when she saw who it was. Her warm smile lifted their spirits as they stepped inside, greeted by the delicious aroma of freshly baked cookies filling the air. After exchanging pleasantries, Tommy revealed their mission to Mrs. Thompson. "We wanted to see if you have any old pictures of Mary, or if you know anything about her that could help us understand these mysterious photos," he said earnestly. Mrs. Thompson's eyes sparkled with memory as she nodded slowly. "Ah, dear Mary. Such a bright soul." She led them to her attic, where dusty boxes held treasures from days gone by. Among framed portraits and snapshots of community events over the years was an old photo album crammed with yellowing pages. As they flipped through the album together, Lily pointed out images showing children playing in summer fields, the sunlight casting warm hues that felt nostalgic yet bittersweet without Mary's presence. Then, a sparkling catch in Tommy's throat distracted him as they discovered an image taken during last year's autumn festival. Mary stood among her friends, framed perfectly under their beloved oak tree. But what caught Lily's eye next made her gasp. A soft glow seemed to envelop Mary in one corner of the photo, while shadows hovered closely around her friends, who had gathered afterward for games. "Do you see that? It looks like she's glowing," Lily exclaimed. "Maybe it really is magic," Tommy pondered aloud while flipping back through pages cluttered with heartfelt remembrances until he spotted another familiar sight. Mary beamed brightly during Thanksgiving celebrations just months before her death. A timeless smile frozen forever amid joyful memories. Inspired by their discovery at Mrs. Thompson's home, Ben and Sarah ventured across town towards Mr. Baxter at the newspaper office to seek further insights about prior sightings reported within Maplewood's history books or tales woven through time. Mr. Baxter welcomed them eagerly into an office fragrant with ink and paper. He loved engaging young minds who shared an appetite for adventure. After listening attentively to their inquiries regarding peculiar occurrences after tragedies struck communities long ago, like haunted objects shaped through grief, he leaned back in his chair thoughtfully. "It seems your town embraces stories rooted deeply within its essence," Mr. Baxter explained enigmatically as he pulled down volumes containing tales written over many generations. Accounts archived while entwined within every laughter-seated heart, echoing across Maplewood streets, reflecting each loss faced as lights, dimmed only for moments before shining anew where phoenixes arose from ashes born anew. Eagerly flipping through pages strewn with hand-painted illustrations, narrated years of cross-stitched memories echoing who Maplewood once was. It was not diminished, but portrayed richer than life. The pair listened closely while absorbing every crumb offered upon this new adventure, laid forth abundantly by history itself, extending far beyond disappearance, into shadows offering hope, drawn forth eternally preserved somewhere alongside cherished doors long closed still. Whispering louder than thunder, roaring endlessly forward, unbroken past twilight, casting new dawns, awaiting fresh promise. Brought forth boldly, breaking shackles, binding them all, hurriedly bound towards embers, continuing ever onward, filled now proudly, radiating brighter than before. With their spirits renewed after meeting Mr. Baxter, Ben excitedly declared, "We must return home tonight. We need gather everyone together. There's so much more we have yet to discover." Underneath chilly now towering night skies, twinkling above, carrying wisdom echoed loud throughout hearts, connected in unified breaths, marking beginnings only moments distant, after painstaking losses became bravely transformed within united pursuit, uncovering mysteries woven intricately, delicately, amid townsfolk torn apart, suddenly now woven close again. Fueled deeper bonds, drawing strength through reconcilable actions, celebrating lives lived together. All merging seamlessly, reflecting hopes, eagerly awaiting transition. Boldly onward, intertwined, dancing together. Illuminating paths toward brighter futures, yet unformed, leading ahead, beckoning newness, embracing light, gradually breaking everlastingly, free still standing, resolutely side by side, supporting one another, unveiling joys, too exuberantly vibrant, awaiting discovery, rekindling dreams once felt dim, now defined beautifully, through evolving friendships, tirelessly blossoming openly here, born again, faithfully amid shared wonderment, bringing everyone closer than ever before, under starlit skies above eagerly anticipating tomorrow, together still dreaming. That search, compelling above, extends infinitely hence, stretching gently, illuminating glimmers, growing brighter underneath unknown heavens. As the celebration of Memories Day unfolded in Maplewood, families gathered in the town hall, each person carrying a piece of Mary's spirit within them. The atmosphere was filled with anticipation and reverence, as friends and loved ones took turns sharing stories that showcased the joy, laughter, and kindness Mary had brought to their lives. Tommy stood by the large wooden table decorated with candles and wildflowers, his heart pounding as he prepared to share his own favorite memory of his sister. He scanned the crowd, catching sight of Mrs. Thompson, Ben, Lily, Sarah, and even some of the older townsfolk who had known Mary. The warmth surrounding him seemed to absorb some of the chill in the air. Taking a deep breath, Tommy spoke up. "I remember it so well. It was a rainy day, and everyone thought we'd have to cancel our plans for a picnic." A murmur of nostalgia rippled through the room as people recalled that day. But Mary insisted we could still have fun. She gathered blankets and snacks and declared we'd have an indoor picnic right in our living room. Laughter erupted at the memory, filling the room with a lightness that pushed back against the heaviness of grief. She set up chairs all around, spread out the blankets on the floor, and made sure even our cat Muffin was included by giving him his own little corner. Tommy smiled, shaking his head at how zany his sister could be. We sat there eating sandwiches while watching raindrops race down the window. Mary turned it into one of the best days ever. Ben stepped forward next, eager to share his story about a time when Mary showed her thoughtful nature. I distinctly remember how she went out of her way to make everyone feel included during recess. He began, his voice full of warmth. "One day I was feeling really shy and didn't want to join in with a group playing tag. I just stood off to the side when Mary came over with her big smile. 'Come on, you can be the princess,' she said to me." Ben continued with a chuckle. "That day she made every one of us feel like heroes in our own story. She told me that every hero needs someone special by their side, and that was enough for me." Tears glistened in many eyes as they remembered how Mary had illuminated even the darkest days with her kindness and compassion. Sarah shyly stood up next and shared her own story about how Mary had supported her during difficult times. "When I lost my dog last spring, she began quietly, trembling slightly as she spoke. Mary helped me put up posters around the neighborhood. It felt like she understood how much my heart hurt. The room fell entirely silent as everyone listened intently, a testament to how deeply they could relate to each other through loss and love. She walked with me everywhere we went, even knocking on neighbors' doors so I wouldn't feel scared. Sarah continued, brushing away a tear with a determined smile breaking through her sadness. Mary didn't just help. She showed me what true friendship means. Each story told brought forth cherished memories, intertwined with laughter and tears that flowed freely among shared experiences of warmth created by her spirit, still present everywhere they looked, even in their hearts forevermore. The candlelight flickered as if echoing this soulful connection emerging from a collective desire for comfort amid sorrow. After a rich afternoon spent nurturing these bonds formed between stories shared, Mrs. Thompson rose once more to speak. Her voice somehow filled every corner despite its gentle tone. Mary had an ability to bring us together in ways we couldn't imagine. She gestured towards an old quilt on display, engraved with images capturing moments from Maplewood's history. The townsfolk woven together, like patches joined closely through life experiences. A symbol eternally entwined, just like friendships forged through love, cultivated amid trials, faced often shoulder to shoulder, encircling one another throughout myriad years, lived wholeheartedly beneath skies, unbroken above them. Let's honor her memory not only today, but going forward by keeping these connections alive. Mrs. Thompson declared warmly, with resolute certainty dancing across enriched wrinkles threading gracefully along her face. Portraying shimmering strength, binding them all closer together, still even through shadows, they faced bravely ready against whatever might come next. Encouraged by this sentiment, echoing softly still within hearts, beating fiercely alive beyond dusk, slowly closing hands, bringing them tighter. Pulling together, forging lifelines, renewed, illuminated far brighter. Now transmuted entirely before them, magically twinkling freely under moonlight, gleaming. Ultimately assured weaving dreams, sewn carefully crafted, created vibrantly nurtured, revealed eternally fervently extending beyond realms. Fading now, beckoning gloriously toward tomorrow, an unbroken chain, intertwining, forming anew, reaching forth joyfully embracing sights unseen, waiting patiently, eager, yet hopeful, awaiting fresh prospects, shining bright lent, transforming ever onward here. In Maplewood forevermore, united familiarly calling one another homeward, gently weaving hearts together, intricately, forming steadily toward light. Boundless brightly gleamed, flickering visions, forever cherished, nurtured still. Hanging tenderly guiding forward, igniting always into something beautiful. Endlessly intertwined, amidst laughter. Smiled cheerfully, warmly, lighting up, ever capturing moments, delicate, eternally flowing, abundantly, sweetly, forever. Boundless, reaching onward toward destiny, wonderfully unfolding there. As the townspeople of Maplewood continued to process the mysterious sightings of Mary in photographs, their reactions varied widely. Conversations buzzed from homes to shops as people grappled with a mix of fear and comfort surrounding these spectral images. The once vibrant town was now divided. As the mystery unfolded, so did a greater exploration of their beliefs regarding life after death. At Joe's General Store, a hub for gossip and camaraderie, two neighbors debated the implications of Tommy's photograph showcasing Mary's glowing smile. "I tell you, it's just a trick of light," insisted Mr. Caldwell, a farmer known for his practical views. "There's no such thing as spirits lingering around. It's all nonsense." His friend, Mrs. Parker, shook her head vehemently in response. "Oh, but maybe it's Mary showing us she's still here, watching over us. I find it comforting," she exclaimed. her eyes shimmering with a mixture of belief and nostalgia. She had such a good heart. I'd like to think she's smiling down on us. Their discussion reflected the wider sentiment sweeping through Maplewood. Some felt reassured by the idea that Mary's spirit remained present, while others dismissed it outright, rooted in logic and skepticism. Children spoke in hushed tones at recess about sightings they had heard from their older siblings, weaving tales that sparked both excitement and fear. At lunch tables, they connected through whispered stories about how Mary would supposedly appear in family photos taken at different locations around town. Tommy and his friends noticed this shift. They felt compelled to foster a more positive atmosphere surrounding the sightings. They organized a small gathering at the park where children could come together to share stories free from fear. "It's about remembering how much fun Mary had," Tommy said passionately to his friends. "Let's not make it scary. Let's celebrate what she meant to all of us." On the day of the picnic, laughter filled the air as the kids brought blankets to spread beneath the old oak tree. The very same tree where Tommy first captured that magical photo. As stories were exchanged, some children recounted funny moments shared with Mary during recess, her exuberance transforming even mundane moments into magical adventures. Meanwhile, grown-ups clustered in small groups throughout the park, discussing how the photos were impacting their faith and understanding of life after death. Some felt renewed hope and acceptance in their grief. The idea that Mary still existed in spirit formed a bridge between what was lost and what continued on in memory. Mr. Thompson, a local carpenter who had known Mary since her birth, expressed his thoughts one evening while sipping cider with friends by a cozy fire. "These sightings may be unnerving for some," he mused, "but they remind me that love doesn't vanish. Perhaps Mary is bringing us comfort during our darkest moments." Conversely, there were some whose fear grew with every new photo unearthed. Conversations around town began to center on unexplained happenings, knocking sounds emanating from empty rooms or fleeting shadows seen out of the corner of one's eye. These encounters fueled superstitions and theories alongside tales of ghosts haunting Maplewood. One evening after dinner, Sarah shared her own unsettling experience with Tommy, the way she had felt a cool breeze in her room when looking at her family photos featuring Mary. "I thought it was just my imagination," she confessed nervously, fidgeting with her hands. "But then I realized it felt like she was saying goodbye." Tommy listened thoughtfully, but reminded her gently that the essence of their friend was reflected in all their hearts. With each story told or memory revisited, they would keep Mary alive. Not through fear or apprehension, but through love and fond remembrance. As winter progressed and snow blanketed the town, discussions continued to evolve between those who found solace in believing in the afterlife and those who sought to rationalize every occurrence surrounding Mary's ghostly presence. Throughout Maplewood, many shapes and sizes of opinions emerged. Yet one sentiment remained constant. Mary would forever hold a significant place within their collective memory. A bright star shining against the night sky, even after she had departed from this life. A reconciliation took place over time as families learned to share their grief while embracing differing beliefs about life beyond death, without harshness toward each other. An understanding that made them stronger against hardship laid bare. Ultimately, within Maplewood walls stood something profound, as perspectives shuffled together, forming bonds emerging through trials faced boldly. Each echoing laughter, now imbued with whispers fostering hope for what awaited beyond comforting familial hearths, reaching out toward vast horizons, stretching onward, endlessly beckoning brighter adventures ahead. Brimming with love, illuminating paths, shimmering gently across every soul. Willing enough to embrace openly, hearts intertwined deeply more than just memories spinning threads woven together, breaking free into brilliant new dawns awaiting transformation, sown beautifully, within brighter futures forever. Calling softly renewed, softly embracing warmth, chased forth toward tomorrow. With winter settling in over Maplewood, and the air crisp with anticipation, Tommy, Lily, Ben, and Sarah felt the growing need for closure following Mary's untimely death. Though they had celebrated her life during the Celebration of Memories Day, they realized that a more personal tribute was necessary, a way to honor their friend and allow themselves to grieve fully. One afternoon, as snowflakes danced softly outside the school windows, Tommy proposed that they visit Mary's grave. "We need to go see her," he suggested quietly. "I think it'll help us feel a little closer to her." The others nodded in agreement, sensing the importance of this journey. They decided on a Saturday morning for their visit. As the day approached, each friend felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. The idea of being close to Mary again brought comfort, but the reality of visiting her grave filled them with an overwhelming sense of sorrow. However, they all knew that this moment would be a significant step in their quest for peace. On the morning of their visit, they bundled up against the cold, each one carrying something special to place at Mary's grave. Tommy brought a small toy that Mary had once given him, a little wooden horse painted bright red. Lily carried a colorful bouquet of wildflowers, Mary's favorites, that she had picked from the garden earlier that week. Ben held a handwritten note filled with memories they shared, while Sarah brought a small framed photo of all four friends smiling together during summer. As they approached the cemetery, the landscape was blanketed in a soft layer of snow, transforming it into a serene and peaceful place. The trees stood tall and silent, their branches heavy with fresh snow. The group walked quietly through the rows of headstones until they found Mary's resting place, marked with an elegant stone engraved with her name and dates. With tender care, they each placed their items around her grave. Tommy set down the wooden horse first, recalling how Mary loved to race it around in circles during playtime. "You always believed in me," he whispered softly before stepping back. Next was Lily with her bouquet. She arranged the flowers delicately. "These are for you," she said quietly. "You were so beautiful, inside and out." Ben stepped forward to read his note aloud, a heartfelt reflection on their favorite adventures together and how much he missed her laughter echoing through their days. He recounted stories about building forts in his backyard and racing each other along paths lined with daisies during warm afternoons. "We'll always remember you," he promised earnestly as tears slipped down his cheeks. Finally, Sarah placed the framed photo by Mary's headstone and smiled through her tears. "This is us," she sniffled lightly. "We were so happy together." Standing together in silence thereafter felt powerful. It was as if Mary's spirit surrounded them, wrapping them in warmth even on this cold winter day. A gentle breeze rustled through nearby trees, causing soft whispers while snowflakes continued their serene descent, creating an almost magical atmosphere. The perfect setting for honoring their cherished friend. After spending time remembering Mary through stories shared and laughter recalled amidst tears shed freely without fear of judgment or misunderstanding, the friends decided to hold an informal memorial service right there on this hallowed ground, where memories lingered brightly beneath layers thickly settled, alongside hearts beating courageously onward, united beneath gray clouds, overhead slowly parting, revealing hues brightening above. Promising new possibilities ahead, forging deeper connections, formed amidst grief, shared openly, unashamedly, as much as joy echoed vibrantly through childhoods, entwined firmly together, still shining beautifully even against somber shadows, cast long beyond every moment, lived intricately woven between lives, touching eternally. Beyond mere mortality, bridging gaps present between questions ignited warmly. Leading faith toward understanding ever sought, embracing infinite love, shaped boldly anew. Brightened joyfully, resonating mightily. Weaving tender threads, lingering seamlessly, still existing, unfurling. Ultimately illuminating brighter pathways, stretching ever onward, revealing hope, flickering dimly, sometimes yet constant. Enduring patiently, awaiting hearts, longing brightly, emboldened, reaching. Forth, inviting futures drawn clearly, amid steady journeys blossoming forth, resoundingly, reminding everyone gathered closely here. How deeply cherished lives remain, entwined amidst soulful recollections, shared gently. A tapestry spun lovingly unbroken, under skies wide above. Promising dawns, unfolding fresh, awaiting further wondrous adventures, still eager, beckoning forth, continuing onward. With renewed spirits held high upon leaving, this quest for closure transformed beautifully into acceptance. The friends felt lighter, as if boundless hope swept through them like fresh air, filling lungs newly inflated. Now bursting forth from shadows, thriving, robustly flourishing within golden light, dancing cheerfully, illuminating pathways ahead. As the days turned into weeks after their visit to Mary's grave, Tommy, Lily, Ben, and Sarah felt a renewed sense of purpose in keeping Mary's memory alive. Inspired by the warmth they felt during their emotional farewell at her grave, they decided to plan a special gathering at the oak tree where Tommy had first captured that magical photograph of Mary. On a bright, sunny afternoon, the friends invited others from Maplewood to join them in a celebration of Mary's life. They decorated the oak tree with colorful ribbons and hung handmade paper lanterns that danced in the gentle breeze. It was a day meant for laughter and joy, just as Mary would have wanted it. As friends and neighbors arrived, the atmosphere buzzed with excitement and fond recollections. Once everyone had gathered beneath the tree, Tommy took a moment to speak. "Thank you all for being here today to remember our friend," he began, his voice steady yet filled with emotion. "Mary loved this tree, and all of you so much. Today is about celebrating her spirit and everything she brought into our lives." Lily stepped forward with her camera, eager to capture the essence of that moment. "Let's take some photos together. We can make new memories while honoring her," she suggested brightly. The group cheered in agreement, their spirits lifted as they posed under the sprawling branches of the oak tree. As laughter erupted and smiles filled the air, Lily snapped pictures of each group gathering, catching glimpses of joy that reflected how much Mary had meant to everyone there. After a few clicks, she turned to capture a candid shot of Tommy, Ben, and Sarah as they shared jokes and memories. "Wait!" Ben exclaimed suddenly. "Let's recreate one of Mary's favorite poses." With that, they lined up together, just like they had done with Mary during their many summer adventures. They struck silly poses, faces scrunched up in laughter as Lily clicked the shutter again. Then it happened. When Lily reviewed the photos on her camera later, she gasped in disbelief. In every picture taken under the oak tree, there was a soft but unmistakable glow surrounding them. A faint yet radiant light that seemed to shimmer around the edges of each image. It was as if Mary's spirit was right there with them. "Look at this," Lily called out excitedly, showing everyone the pictures she had taken moments earlier. "Do you see how we're glowing?" Gasps filled the air as people gathered around to examine the photos closely, eyes wide with wonder. "It's like she's here with us," Sarah said in awe, her voice trembling with emotion. The revelation ignited feelings of warmth and comfort among their friends and neighbors. Some wiped away happy tears, while others exchanged hopeful glances. "It's just so beautiful," Mrs. Thompson remarked softly, as she leaned closer to get a better look at the images on Lily's camera. "Mary truly is with us, always watching over us." Tommy felt his heart swell as he gazed at each glowing picture. They embodied everything Mary had been, full of life, laughter, and love. The friends embraced one another tightly in that moment, knowing they would carry these memories forever within their hearts. The gathering continued with storytelling and music shared beneath the oak tree, a joyous celebration filled with love for Mary's spirit that lingered brightly in their lives. As dusk began to settle in and stars twinkled into view overhead, they lit candles and placed them around the oak tree, a tribute to their beloved friend who had left an indelible mark on their souls. As they gathered one final time to say goodbye for the evening, Tommy stood up slowly to speak once more. "Thank you all for being here today," he said earnestly. "We may miss Mary more than we can say, but knowing she is always close by fills us with strength." With hands held tightly together under the canopy of stars shining brightly above them, each flicker representing memories shared, the friends made a promise to keep Mary's spirit alive through acts of kindness and joy every day. As they turned to leave, under the gentle glow of lanterns reflecting against freshly fallen snow, Tommy glanced back at the oak tree one last time before taking off down homebound trails, winding brightly ahead, promising more adventures awaiting them all together. Steadfast, ready, moving forward, unbroken, connecting warmly within bonds cherished forever. Deeper than mere companionship, continuing onward, lighting pathways ahead, glowing brightly, still feeling ever-present warmth, embracing every heart, filled faithfully even now, knowing with certainty Mary would always be there, guiding, gently reminding them all how love transcends even into eternity. As the sunlight of spring began to warm the town of Maplewood, Tommy, Lily, Ben, and Sarah found themselves reflecting on the journey they had taken since Mary's tragic passing. Their hearts still carried the weight of loss, but intertwined with that weight was a newfound sense of purpose, a legacy of love that Mary had left behind. Each moment spent together in remembrance made them realize how deeply Mary had impacted their lives. The first signs of spring brought with it a renewal of life, a season that mirrored their own transformation as they learned to embrace both the joy and sorrow of their memories. They organized a small get-together at the oak tree, where they had shared laughter and stories just months before. This time, it was different. It felt like they were celebrating not just Mary's life, but also the lessons they had learned through her spirit. "Today, let's talk about what we can do to keep Mary's memory alive," Tommy suggested as they gathered in the soft grass beneath the oak's flourishing branches. His voice was filled with determination. "I think we should start a community garden in her honor. Something beautiful that everyone can contribute to." Lily's eyes sparkled at the idea. "That's perfect. Mary loved flowers and nature so much. We could call it Mary's Garden and fill it with her favorite blooms." The thought ignited excitement among them, and they began brainstorming ideas for how to make it happen. Ben chimed in. "We could invite everyone in town to help plant it and take care of it. It would be a way to bring everyone together and share stories about Mary." Sarah nodded eagerly, feeling a sense of warmth spread through her heart. "And we can have a special spot in the garden, maybe a bench where people can sit and remember her. We could even put up a little sign that explains the meaning behind it." With their plans set in motion, they crafted flyers to share with the community, inviting everyone to join them for a planting day. Excitement rippled through Maplewood as word spread. Families who had been mourning together since Mary's death felt invigorated by the idea of contributing to something beautiful in her honor. The day of the planting arrived, bright and sunny, filled with laughter and chatter as townsfolk gathered around the oak tree. Tommy, Lily, Ben, and Sarah were overwhelmed by the turnout. The entire community came together to help create something meaningful. As they dug into the soil, planting seeds and flowers, stories about Mary flowed freely. Neighbors reminisced about her playful spirit and adventurous nature, while helping each other plant colorful blossoms that would ripple through the garden like laughter when spring bloomed fully. Each flower planted was a celebration of memories shared, reminders of all that Mary had meant to them. Mrs. Thompson brought an old scrapbook filled with photographs showcasing vibrant moments from Mary's life. She shared it with those gathered around, introducing them to snapshots of picnics in the park, races down paths lined with daisies, and joyful birthday parties decorated with balloons. As families flipped through the pages, many wiped away tears while smiling at memories treasured. After hours spent planting and sharing stories, the garden slowly began to take shape. A tapestry woven from love, grief, and joy, colored by every bloom swaying gently under the sun's bright gaze. As twilight approached, Tommy called for everyone's attention. "Thank you all for coming today. I think Mary would be so happy to see how much love we're putting into this garden," he said earnestly. "And let's never forget that she will always be with us," added Lily, glancing at the oak tree that towered over them majestically. "In our hearts and in everything we do." They all joined hands, forming a circle around the emerging garden as they shared an emotional farewell prayer for Mary, an acknowledgement that while she was no longer physically present, her spirit would forever be alive in all their hearts. As seasons changed and flowers bloomed vibrantly over time within Mary's garden. Tommy, Lily, Ben, and Sarah continued caring for it together. They found healing within each petal nurtured tenderly under their watchful care. They started inviting local children to join them on weekends to learn about gardening, imparting kindness rooted deeply in love toward others who came seeking solace alongside them. Mary's legacy transformed into something beautiful. Her spirit thrived continuously in every act of kindness bestowed upon others. A reminder that love transcends even beyond earthly existence. Through their commitment to keep her memory alive, a living testament showcasing how joy thrives amid sorrow. They turned grief into growth, fostering deeper connections among themselves while embracing their own individual journeys ahead, filled authentically within untold hopes, waiting patiently beyond every horizon, beckoning brightly ahead, promising even more adventures yet unknown. Each blossom flourished under skies wide above Maplewood, radiating vibrance as they touched every soul drawn closely, nurturing hearts connected forever. Infusing life into cherished dreams, guiding forth tenderly lighting pathways, leading brightly onward toward futures glowing beautifully brighter than any shadow cast before.